Hey, hey, yeah, hey. Yeah, 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 yeah. Ooh. Mother, Father, God, we can feel your power. Yeah. Woo. Ancestors, we know this is the hour. Feel it in my bones. Oh, we know freedom is ours. Yeah. So let's go home. Oh, to the magic and power. I want to feel your energy, so everybody repeat after me. Great Spirit, Great Spirit, rain down on me. Great Spirit, Great Spirit, rain down on me. Everybody say, ah, 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 ah. Mother, Father, God, ancestors, spirit guides, guardian angels, all forces of love and light, we give thanks for you. Thank you for earth, wind, fire, and water. Thank you for life and breath. Thank you for the universe. We ask that you come to us and through us right here, right now, in this anointed hour, where white fragility is falling. It's going out kicking and screaming, but it's falling. Let us be clear. As Mother Earth is cleansing, as the planets are aligning, as everything is being revealed, may we move with the unshakable, unshakable presence of God. May we vibrate in this sacred, divine light that is our birthright. Ashe. May we move not from a place of fear, but from a place of perfect peace, and knowing that our victory is certain. Ashe. That our victory is certain. Ashe. So everybody, just breathe and feel the God force, that source ebbing and flowing through you right here and right now, activating every cell in your memory, reminding you that you are a force of nature, and that we was built for these times. We was built for this time. Oh, we was built for this time. Oh, 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 oh. And because we know that it is the unseen world that controls the seen world, Ashe, that we don't do this work alone. And so as we call on the God force and our ancestors from antiquity to the present, from Africa to the Americas and beyond, those who created worlds steeped in spirituality, balance, wisdom, knowledge, artistry, medicine, multi-dimensional technologies that humanity to exist in its highest frequency. That's what we're calling on right now. And may those frequencies be activated in us right here and right now. Help us to remember and recall. Remember and recall. We are the ones that we have been waiting for. Help us to remember and recall who we are and become who we was born to be, as we build a new world grounded in love, freedom, and joy. Ashe. Everybody say Ashe. 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 Ma'at. Ashe. In each name I call, you respond with the Ashe. Queen Ty, Ramses II, Hannibal, Queen Ya Asantua, Nani and Kojo of the Maroons, Harriet Tubman, Sojourner Truth, Jean-Jacques Dessalines, Sitting Bull, Haile Selassie, Dr. Carter G. Woodson, Ella Baker, Marcus Garvey, Patrice Lumumba, Thomas Sankara, Huey P. Newton, Dr. Sheikh Anta Diop, Paulie Murray, Kwame Ture, Amiri Baraka, Stephen Biko, Malcom Sobofu Some, Wangari Maathi, my father Dick Gregory, Dr. Sabi, Mamadi Keita, Asada Shakur, Reverend Jesse Jackson, Amelia Boynton Robinson, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Coretta Scott King, Medgar Evers, and our Queen Mother, Dr. Betty Shabbat. And lastly, we honor the warrior, the master teacher, the truth teller, the liberator, our shining black prince, El Haj Malik El Shabbat. El Haj Malik El Shabbat. On this sacred day, in this sacred space, as we call out your name, may we feel the vibration of your courage, your brilliance, your light, and your love for our people. We say thank you, great ancestor. Malcolm X, because of you we are. Malcolm X, because of you we are. All of those light spirits, known and unknown, who continue to protect us and keep us from the other side. Raise our vibration. We are eternally grateful. May your power live on through us. And may we know with certainty that with your anointed presence and the power and the presence of the Most High God, that our victory is certain. Ashe. Everybody say it's already done. It's already done. And with our hands outstretched to the heaven, we say Ashe, 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 oh. Everybody say Ashe, oh. Ashe, oh. Everybody say Ashe, oh. Ashe, oh. Ashe, oh. Ashe, oh. It's already done. We got this, y'all. Many thanks to the Queen Mother.
Please now welcome acclaimed singer-songwriter Ayanna Irish, who will deliver a beautiful rendition of the Black National Anthem, Lift Every Voice and Sing.
Thank you.
Lift every voice and sing till earth darkness has taught us. Oh, sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of a new day.
valuable work. Now, a major part of keeping legacy alive is support. Say that, somebody say support. We need support. A lot of people love institutions, but don't support institutions. People brag about their HBCUs and never really check back. Some of y'all agree with other organizations, even financial Sister Charles. Some of y'all love these organizations, but don't donate to them. And I've been guilty of that too, so I'm not here to take a moral high ground. I'm just here to say, if we love these institutions, we have to pour into them. We have to pour into them. And we need your help here in this room, and those of you watching at home, to keep these doors open and to keep the programming here as vibrant and as effective and as transformative as it has been. So all the money that's raised this evening will go back into supporting the Shabazz Center's programming and the Shabazz Center's events. So later tonight, you're going to see our live fundraiser, and you'll have a chance to show your generosity and make donations in real time. We also have a silent auction going on with some amazing items. If you take a look at the screen, you can see some of the things that are just waiting for you to bid on. Somebody, I'm going to tuck that one away, man. There's a $250 gift certificate for a dining experience at Boulevard Bistro here in Harlem. There's a new special edition, luxuriously designed centennial hardcover of the autobiography of Malcom X, signed by the Shabazz family. There is a vacation trip to the breathtakingly beautiful British Virgin Islands. There's a $750 Manhattan Escape Spa package at the Waldorf Astoria. Gorgeous hand-painted portraits of Malcolm that are being painted live here tonight by two amazing artists. We have Eddie Wilson and Thomas Lockhart. And collectible merch donated by Actively Black, courtesy of one of tonight's Vanguard awardees, Lanny Smith. So please pay attention to everything going on. Sign up for the silent auction if you have not. Make a bid if you can. Make sure you're paying attention and stay tuned for the live donations later. There's a lot happening with the fundraising. But again, family, we need your help. We're building here, we're doing amazing things here, but it only happens because of your love and your dedication. So first, let me say thank you to all of you who have donated, all of you who have supported this institution for so many years, and let's just commit to supporting this organization for many years to come. I'll see y'all later. We got a lot more coming up tonight. God bless you.
Please now welcome to the stage singer, songwriter, and poet, Shusol.
Here, in this place, in this blessed, sacred space, where 61 years ago your life was taken in haste, was taken with hate, but Brother Malcolm, they know you can't kill what God has purposed. If you bury seeds, they'll grow, and that's power. 310, yes, that was your final hour, but your life is still speaking, your words are still teaching, and though black people still are bleeding, there are little signs of freedom. Self-determination is the reason that we keep on believing we're seeing. There's a worldwide revolution going on. Black folk are tired of being indicted before we're even born, being buked and scorned, Lord, for having skin of a darker hue. Got a campaign for our humanity as we're trotting through, but still. Who taught us to love ourselves? You. Who took our plight and then who flew across the blue water so the world would know that the struggle is the same no matter where you go, from New York to the Congo, Mississippi to Belize, from Alabama to Kenya, Louisiana, Tennessee, it's the same. Please believe, you declare this is not just an American problem, and it's up to all Africans to band together to solve them. Brother Malcolm, we thank you for your sacrifice, because ain't too many out there who will give their lives for the truth. Despite bombings and the public bashings, you still live the life of courage and committed action, full of compassion, loving people, always staying in position, working overtime that we might see our condition. That was your mission, and there was no hate in your blood, just steadfast, unmovable, boundless love and self racism, white supremacy, all the violence against women. Brother Malcolm, you have something to say. Because your role with many sisters back in the day, speaking of sisters at this time, I'd like to pay homage to Dr. Betty, who worked night and day to preserve your legacy in a dignified way. It is the very reason we can assemble today, a mighty sister who raised your 6 daughters into queens, all the while becoming a doctor and fulfilling her dreams, turning tragedy to triumph. This place came to life. She said, find the good and praise it. And I know that's right. It's been 101 years and we still speak your name, Brother Malcolm, the black prince who was slain. And all the people in the place that you will never forget, say Ashe. It's been 101 years and we still will forever speak your name, Brother Malcolm, shining black prince who was slain right here. Let all the people in the place that you will never forget, say Amen. Thank you.
Welcoming to the podium, one of 6 devoted daughters of Malcolm X and Dr. Betty Shabazz, torchbearer of the Shabazz family legacy, and chairperson of the Malcolm X and Dr. Betty Shabazz Memorial and Education Center, Dr. Ilyasa Shabazz.
Welcome to the Malcolm X and Dr. Betty Shabazz Memorial and Educational Center. Give yourselves a round of applause. This is the home, as Malak says, that Betty built. Thank you for joining me, the Shabazz family, our board of directors, the Shabazz staff team. I have to always bow to them. I wish I could mention every single one of your names. Melissa, Nadia, Jenny, Gay, Lenny. It's so many. We could not do the work without this incredible team. Community this evening for the 101st annual birthday celebration of our dear father, El Haj Malik El Shabazz. Let's give a round of applause to our production team. Because we have a wonderful program planned for you, and we invite you to be a part of this legacy. And of course, make your donation. My name is Dr. Ilyasa Shabazz. I am one of 6 daughters of Malcolm X and Dr. Betty Shabazz, and I'm honored to carry forth the legacy of my beloved parents as board chair of the Malcolm X and Dr. Betty Shabazz Memorial and Educational Center. I'd like to thank our African Healing drummers, Ayana Gregory, the daughter of the late Dick Gregory. Reverend Dr. Malcom Lee. Miss Ayana Irish for singing our national anthem. And of course, a beautiful sister, She Salt. For so beautifully invoking the spirit of our ancestors and for setting the tone of this special evening. Yes. As is my tradition, I begin by giving praise to the Almighty. I give praise to our ancestors, yes, all of them, the refined, industrious men and women who have not been properly honored in history, Dr. Regina Page. Those who birthed thriving civilizations on the continent of Africa and migrated the world over, building new civilizations generations. I'd also like to give praise to those whose descendants endured the largest forced migration of a people in the history of humankind, and yet today we still stand, we still prosper, we are vigilant, and we remain interconnected as one human family. 101 years ago, this man was birthed. And tonight we step into the second century of our young father's life and legacy. The first 100 years gave the world Malcom. The next 100 years ask, what will we do with that which he gave to us? My father spoke truth. He spoke power. He spoke love, the kind of love that defends, the kind of love that builds. And here in the home that our mother, Dr. Betty Shabazz, built, we continue that work for us and for our children's children. And now it is my honor to turn the evening over back to our wonderful master of ceremonies, our beautiful brother and forever friend, Dr. Malcom, who is a presidential professor of urban education and anthropology at the CUNY Graduate Center. He is the host of Upfront on Al Jazeera English. He is a BET News correspondent, owner of Uncle Bobby's Books, and the author of numerous books on race, education, and justice. Before we do that, we're going to call to the stage our dear brother and Vanguard honoree, political scientist, journalist, and filmmaker, Dr. Hisham Aidi, who also serves as the Shabazz Center's Director of Academic Programs and Research. Dr. Aidi, please, could you join us to the stage?
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Shabazz Center. Please take a moment to check out the exhibit downstairs. Right? It's an extraordinary exhibition of Malcolm's life, Malcolm's link to liberation movements around the world, Ghana, Nigeria, Egypt, France, Tanzania. There's a section on the women that made Malcolm X. So please check out the exhibit downstairs. And in the back, over here, is Malcolm X, his impact on popular culture across the generations. Also, check out our websites. The Shabazz Center website to see our new initiatives. We have a new program called Malcolm X Fellows, right, where we'll have high school and college students come into the center on Saturdays for tuition-free education all day. Okay? It gives me great pleasure to present the first Vanguard Award. There are intellectuals who make arguments that resonate around the world, and then there are those whose lives are themselves arguments. Lives whose very arc, from birth to exile, to political thought, to resistance constitute a theory of the world. Our first awardee is a combination of both. Mahmoud Mamdani was born in Uganda, came to America as a teenager, and in 1963 boarded a bus heading south to Birmingham, a freedom ride organized by SNCC. For joining the American Civil Rights Movement, the 17-year-old would be promptly arrested. When the Ugandan ambassador reprimanded him for interfering in a foreign country's affairs, the young Mahmoud answered that human dignity is never a foreign affair. After completing a PhD at Harvard, Dr. Mamdani returned to lecture at Makerere University in Uganda. When he was expelled from Uganda Uganda in 1972. He was recruited to teach at the University of Dar es Salaam in Tanzania, where he became part of the Dar es Salaam School of Political Economy, a thrilling intellectual movement. Over the next 50 years, Professor Mamdani would go on to produce a body of scholarship that transformed the way we think about colonialism, civil war, human rights, and modernity. His bond with the intellectual tradition that we honor tonight is deep and personal. Professor Mamdani wrote the introduction to W.B. Du Bois's The World in Africa, carrying Du Bois's vision to a new 21st century generation. Professor Mamdani's work also echoes the arguments of Malcolm X, the internationalism, the Pan-Africanism, the undaunted scrutiny of imperial wrongdoing. This Fulbright student from Uganda would become a towering public intellectual. In 2008, Prospect Magazine and Foreign Policy voted Professor Mamdani one of the most important public intellectuals in the world. So the Shabazz Center is deeply honored to give the Vanguard Award to one of the greatest minds that Africa has given to the world. Please give a warm welcome to Professor Mahmoud Mamdani.
Hisham was once a student of mine. He never disappointed me. He always surprised me. He always caught me at moments when I wasn't prepared or forewarned. And that includes tonight. He said, "Come." And that's all he said. But a single word command from Hisham, I have learned is not to be me. I am hugely honored to receive this award. Sounds like a lifetime achievement award. I just turned 80, and so I will accept it as that. Malcom was a huge inspiration to my generation. So I'm talking about the 50s and the 60s. I'm talking of an era when we bought records, the ballad or the bullet, message from the grassroots. I used to listen to them over and again. At that time I was mesmerized. It would take me time to draw lessons from it. And to think through my own thoughts in the footsteps of Malcom. I know I'm not invited to give a big speech, but I didn't want to miss this occasion to say a few words. Thank you.
next awardee, when civil rights activists were organizing freedom rallies in the South, our next awardee was in Accra, Ghana with Malcom X. Professor David Levering Lewis was born in Little Rock, Arkansas in 1936. He received his PhD from the London School of Economics and then headed to teach in Ghana as the winds of decolonization were sweeping across the African continent. Dr. Lewis was lecturing at the University of Accra on medieval African history when he came face to face with Malcom X, who returning from Mecca came to speak at the university. Professor Lewis would go on to write a beautiful essay about this encounter titled Ghana 1963, on Malcolm, the African-American community of Accra, and dreams of African sovereignty. Professor Lewis would go on to become a scholar whose reach extends far beyond the American Academy, into the conscience of the culture itself, producing path-breaking works on the Harlem Renaissance, the Civil Rights Movement, Islamic Spain, the history of colonialism. The Race of Fashoda is one of my favorites. Professor Lewis also published a monumental 2-volume biography of W.E.B. Du Bois that won not one, but 2 Pulitzer prizes. In fact, tonight, PBS is airing its American Masters documentary on W.E.B. Du Bois. It's airing right now, actually. And Professor Lewis features very prominently in it. Professor Lewis is a university professor emeritus at NYU. He has won countless national and international awards, but to us, he is the keeper of Black America's history and intellectual flame. One more thing. On Monday, Professor Lewis turns 90 years old.
I am so pleased to be here. I left London in September 1963, and I flew to Accra, Ghana for my first teaching position. It was an extraordinary moment for me. I had not indeed planned ever to return to my country. I thought that I was flying to the future. And if I may, I'll just read a few of my impressions as the plane landed in Accra. I said, by the time my adventure began, the old Gold Coast had become a tightly run one-party state under its modernizing and American-educated leader, Kwame Nkrumah, who had risen from prime minister to president after a 1960 referendum that transformed Ghana into a republic. With some 300 million pounds sterling having been transferred to its accounts by the departing British, this wealthy, comparatively literate country of 7 million had espoused through the charismatic Osatiko Redeemer Dr. Kwame Nkrumah a national destiny of stupendous proportions. The creation of the United States of Africa, Ghana and Lone Sekou Touré's D-Days of 30 millions desperately needed dollars after the huffily departing French created the telephones and even the ballpoint pens in order to punish the new nation for daring to reject General de Gaulle's offer of membership in the Communauté Française. More than that, in December 1960, the two countries announced the formation of a political association with a third partner, the new West African nation of Mali, all who pledged their support of Lumumba's Congo and of Ahmed Ben Bella's FLN. The word had gone forth from Flagstaff House, the Ghanaian White House, that people of African descent abroad were welcome to bring their talents to help transform a well-intentioned dictatorship into the lodestar of Black Africa. And then to no group was the summons more exhilarating than to the African American professional class of educators, lawyers, physicians, journalists, and diplomatic adventurers, the grandsons and granddaughters of W.E.B. Du Bois's so-called talented tenth. The son of a president of a historically black college who worked his way through Yale and the University of Chicago, I was one of the many pilgrims in the cultural Nigeria that brought scores of serenely ill-informed enthusiasts to Accra, the Pan-African Mecca from Harlem, Atlanta, Chicago, Berkeley, and other American elsewheres. And so, as a new lecturer at University of Ghana in September, came the next year in April, when Malcom X came to campus, and he spoke to us and full of common love and told us of his Hajj, and told us that he had seen people who, irrespective of pigment, were not devils, that the devil was in the economics that oppressed us, not in the And I was young then, and so I decided to follow Malcom X as he went to the Ghana Press Club. And so I did. I walked in, and there was a carpet of marvelous young women there. And I noticed that Malcom X was there to speak to all of us, not to be deterred or swayed or even for a moment appreciative of the welcome of these lovely women. And I stood up and I deigned to ask him a question. I said, Mr. Malcom X, there seem to be two ways to go along in our civil rights path. There's Martin Luther King's nonviolent passive resistance, and there is your pathway, which is aggressive, which is no nonsense, and which is determined to make change speedily. How can we decide which is the better? May it not divide us in the United States. There was a hiss in the audience. He said, looking at me, young professor, we are not going to be divided. There is one way, and the way is the way that I profess to you. And when you have finished your classes and gone on to do other things, you will realize that I had right in my approach. And I thought that I would never have the privilege today to remember those words from that great man standing there looking straight at me as a young person who now knows that the African diaspora is where we must reside. And so one of the things I've done is to form a fellowship in my name for the African diaspora for $2 million. And scholarship that it enables will help transform so much of what we today are confronted by, and that is ignorance, that is racism, that is kleptocracy, that is arrogance that has had no parallel in the American presidency and in the American experience at all.
And in 1970, he founded the Mosque of Islamic Brotherhood, a community institution that was a direct descendant of Malcolm's Muslim Mosque Incorporated. Then, upon Sheikh Tawfiq's passing in 1988, a young man who had walked through the doors of the MIB as a 20-year-old seeker, inspired like so many of us by the autobiography of Malcolm X, rose to carry that mantle. Imam Abdul Rashid served as the Imam of the Mosque of Islamic Brotherhood for more than 35 years. What a leader he was. He was called a mountain of life, a man who never lost his passion for being the helping hand, the back strong enough to hold up under the weight and the pressure of living in one of the most demanding cities on earth. Imam Talib was loved, he was respected all around the United States. He was regarded as the real, authentic heir of Malcolm X's vision. He returned to Allah on November 15, 2025, leaving behind a legacy that no award can fully measure. But we honor him tonight. And we are deeply moved that this posthumous recognition will be accepted by none other than Hashem Tawfiq, the son of Sheikh Ahmed Tawfiq, the founding imam of the Mosque of Islamic Brotherhood. Brother Yushab is a Harlem luminary, himself a luminary, a Marine veteran, a 20-year-old veteran of the New York City Fire Department. He's also an accomplished actor. And you probably recognize him. You say people know exactly who he is. People recognize him from the NBC hit show The Blackness, where for 10 seasons he played the imposing Dembe Zumba. Yeah, he do everything. Firefighting, actor, everything. That's amazing. So now the next to Imam Tawfiq, from Tawfiq to Imam Talib, and now to Yushab standing before us, the Shabazz Center is delighted to present this posthumous Vanguard Award to Imam Talib Abdul Rashid and the Mosque of Islamic Brotherhood. Give his 3-minute remarks as all the other recipients will give their 3-minute, that's 180-second remarks.
We'll definitely be under 3 minutes after that beautiful introduction and that history lesson. I first would like to thank Sister Liasa Shabazz and family and the Shabazz Center for thinking about Lady Imam and giving him this award. And in the spirit of the Imam, I was going to tell the history, which was already told. But I just wanted to share some interactions with the Imam to give some context to who he was. So after my father, Sheikh Al-Hajj Ahmed Tawfiq, passed away in 1988, Imam Talib, who was the assistant Imam, then became the Imam. And one of the first interactions I had with him was he approached me after my father's death and asked me if he could occupy my father's apartment/office. He knew how important it was to me. And even though that sounds small, it set the stage for me being comfortable to consult him going forward in the future. The next interaction I had with him is when I joined the Marine Corps, I had a lot of issues with being a black man and being Muslim. And I was also given orders to go to Kuwait, and I was struggling with that. I was threatened with being put in the brig, and when they asked me if I was a Muslim or a Marine, I said I was a Muslim. I didn't know I could choose both. And then I consulted with the Imam, and he relieved a lot of my guilt. He wrote a letter detailing my Mex's history, my father's history, and also my brother's history. We presented that to CEOs in the Marine Corps. Nevertheless, I still had to go to Kuwait, but it lifted a lot of guilt as me being a Muslim Marine, serving and coming home, and as me being honorably discharged as opposed to discharged. And throughout the last 2 years of his life, he was very excited and happy about the subway naming after Al-Hajj Shabazz. He was present there. And then on September 28th, the night before he was supposed to speak at a plaque dedication for Al-Hajj Shabazz, he passed away. So I just want you to see the arc of his introduction to Islam and his commitment to preserving the legacy of Malcom X and my father and the Mosque of Islamic Brotherhood and Muslim Mosque Incorporated. From the 60s all the way to 2025, the day before, the next day, he was going to speak at a plaque dedication. So I just wanted to share those moments, that history with you as we paid our respects at the cemetery today. I spoke to Councilmember Yusuf Salam, and we were talking about how quickly the Imam left us. We were struggling with, did we have the tools to continue doing the service that the Imam did? And we both shared that we had doubt, but that we also believed that he had empowered us with all of the tools that we needed to continue the fight, the struggle. So I leave that message with all of us here, that we have the tools, we have the power, we have great leadership, and let's continue doing work. Thank you.
honoring the elders awardees, please. Okay, just making sure everybody good. If you're watching at home, stay with us. We got a lot more programs. We're moving, but it's good. It's high energy. We got a lot more awards. We got a lot more artists coming up. We have dynamic performances by, like I said, Red Veil, Dr. Melanie R. Hill, and of course, Art Star. And none of you are going to miss out on us singing happy birthday to our dear beloved brother Malcolm at the end of the program. So stay in your seats, keep your TVs on, keep watching, keep your laptops rolling. We got all this stuff going. But before we get started, I want to point out that we're here to celebrate not one birthday, but two. The 101st birthday of our beloved brother Malcolm X, and also the birth of an amazing new book. It's amazing, right? It's called Malcolm in the Desert, and it's written by an extraordinary authoress, Dr. Ilyas Shabazz. Please give her a round. I get nervous when my friends write books. A lot of people write books and then they send them to you and they want you to do stuff with them. I got a bookstore, they want them on the shelves, they want to learn. And a lot of times people give you their books, they just don't be good. And I don't know what to do with it. And Ilyas sent me the book. And she said, keep her support. And I read it. I knew it wasn't going to be bad, but I was like, please let this be good. And it wasn't. It was great. It was excellent. And what I love about the book is there are people who keep going down the same path, telling the same story, having their own analysis of Malcolm and what Malcolm would be doing. And I get so frustrated when people try to do the same thing. And also people who are so disconnected, not just from Malcolm personally, but from the legacy and from the tradition, trying to be in conversation with Malcolm. So when I saw this book, obviously there's a connection, but also there was a different approach. There was a beautiful approach. It was a powerful approach. This is a book about transformation. And this book was inspired by Brother Malcolm's Hajj and the final years of this journey on this planet. The book takes us to the human heart of a legend, and it uses his example as a guide for us all on his personal journeys, on our own personal journeys. Spike Lee called this a classic in the making, and Spike knows about a lot of stuff except basketball. Spike said that this is a classic in the making, and I could not agree more. The Angela Davis said that this book generates enlightenment and hope. I wrote a few words about the book as well. It said, for more than 6 decades, Malcolm X has stood as our most shining example of political courage, moral consistency, and spiritual maturity. This book helps us understand the source of Malcolm's extraordinary humanity. With her trademark writerly elegance and intellectual brilliance, Ilyas Shabazz helps us trace Malcolm's mighty steps while inspiring us to embark on our own journey of personal transformation. So read this beautiful book and prepare for a pilgrimage of the body, the mind, and the soul. And I meant every single word of that. This book is special. I want you all to support her as loving offering that she's created for all of us to learn more and to feel closer, even closer to Brother Malcolm than we do right now. And because it's his 101st birthday, consider that your gift to Brother Malcolm as well. So please get your copy. No, don't get your copy. Get multiple copies. In the publishing industry, sometimes it's hard to get books published because they think that we won't consume those books. And when extraordinary books come out, I encourage people to buy one for themselves because the book matters and because the book is powerful and because the book will change your life. And I really mean it with this book. But also, I want you to buy copies for people who you know will support this book, who you know will benefit from this book, who you know will be inspired by this book, and people who you know will simply want to support the movement to have more books like this created. Because next week, when the New York Times bestseller list comes out, we want this book to be on it. And the way y'all want it to be on it, I got the secret. Buy it. If you buy it, it'll be on the list. So everybody, please get to buy this extraordinary book, Malcolm in the Desert. I love you bought it from an independent black bookstore. I know of you. But anywhere you go, anywhere books are sold, perfectly independent bookstores, perfectly black bookstores, again, for us, by us. All right. That aside, without further delay, coming up next, somebody's going to give you what surely will be a powerful presentation on spiritual transformation. It is an honor to introduce our brother, Imam Muhammad Jabir, our beloved Imam and a longtime friend of the Shabazz family. His relationship to the Shabazz family goes back decades. He is the son of Sheikh Hisham Jabir, who was a close associate and mentor to Malcolm X. When Malcolm X's life was tragically cut short in February of 1965, Muslim leaders across the metropolitan area were warned not to perform the funeral rites for Malcolm. Yet Imam Jabir stepped up fearlessly, believing it was a sacred Islamic duty to bury a fellow Muslim, regardless of the threats. He documented that courageous act in his wonderful book, I Buried Malcolm. Sheikh Jabir's bond with the Shabazz family did not end there. He also officiated the 1997 funeral of Malcolm X's beloved widow, Betty Shabazz, cementing his place as a friend and a guide to his family across generations through both triumph and grief. We are delighted to welcome back our dear brother, Imam Jabir.
الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Alhamdulillah, this is a very special moment for me. And I just want to get a show of hands of all of those who have visited the sacred precincts of Mecca. Just give me a show of hands. I want to start out with the Hajj cry. And I want you to repeat after me. Labbaik Allahumma labbaik. Labbaik la sharika laka labbaik. Inna alhamda wa ni'mata laka wal mulk la sharika laka. Here I am, O Allah, here I am. Here I am, you have no partner. Indeed, the praise, the bounty, and the dominion belongs only to you. Here I am. Brothers and sisters, friends, and no foe. This is the same cry that shook the heart of Al-Hajj Shabazz, Malcolm X, in Mecca. And this same echo is resonating across the world today. I want you to take this journey with me tonight. The spiritual transformation that changed Malcolm X to Al-Hajj Shabazz forever. And this transformation and this journey is called the Hajj. Beyond and deeper than the ritual. Again, tonight is a very powerful night because we are speaking of the pilgrimage during the very sacred days of the month of Dhul Hijjah. We are just entering into the third day of the Hajj month. And this cry is not a cry except against arrogance. It is a cry that breaks the ego, destroys racism, and abolishes nationalism, tribalism, and pride. And there was a man among us who answered that call, April 21st, 1964. And he came back totally transformed forever. And as we know, that man was none other than Al-Hajj Shabazz. Brothers and sisters, friends and no foe. Some people travel across continents and oceans, seeking and searching for the divine, not realizing that the discovery that they sought after was no more than the distance in their own hearts. You see, when Malcolm went to Hajj, he went with anger, but he returned with clarity. He went with a racial ideology, and he returned with Islam. Before Hajj, as we all know, Malcolm was a man that was shaped by pain and trauma. His father was killed, his family shattered, and he witnessed humiliation, segregation, racism, and violence in its ugliest form. It was America that taught him from his childhood that black life is cheap and has no value. And you see, when a person is wounded and carrying pain, he seeks for a movement, an organization, or an institution that gives them a sense of dignity, pride, self-discipline, and strength. And when he finds it, he holds onto it tightly. And this is what the Nation of Islam did for Malcolm X. Unfortunately, it was truth mixed with untruth. Malcolm in the beginning believed in racial separation. And I want you to follow me in this journey. He believed that the white race was inherently evil, a race of devils. It sounds absurd in the 21st century. But pain can make a person accept ideas emotionally before examining their validity. But Malcolm had something that was very unique, and that is sincerity. And when you combine